Hey all, thanks for joining the webinar section for Power BI course. Hi, this is Hari, your Power BI trainer. And first of all, to everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to whoever as per your local time region. And also thanks to Lakshmi for giving me this opportunity as a part of Agile hands-on coaching training that I'm part of this particular organization as a Power BI data analyst trainer, right? So today we are going to discuss about what are the topics that we are going to cover as a part of our Power BI training, right? And what is the significance of these course and how this is going to help us in to change our career into the IT world, right? So let us start. Let me share my screen. I hope I am audible and clear. You can let me know if you are having any issues with my audio. You can just post it in the chat channel so that I can quickly take corrective action, right? So let us jump into the call. Let me share my screen. So and also let me start a simple slideshow. This is going to give a clear understanding, right? So if you see our course, right, we are going to cover Power BI and PostgreSQL, right? And the certification we are going to target is Microsoft Power BI Data Analyst. The code for this one is PL300, and I also certified professional under this one, Microsoft Power BI course, right? So the three major topics we are going to cover, I would say kind of a two minor topics and one is the major topic, right? You can see we are going to cover data warehousing, PostgreSQL, right? These are going to be our minor topics that is going to give a required support for us to gain right level of knowledge to the Power BI, right? So just going to the more in depth into the Power BI, I just want to show you two simple diagrams or presentations, right? If you see, these are like data to insights, a simple diagram. Now, if you see on the left side, we have the data factory, right? Where data engineers, right? Data analyst, or right, or ETL people works on this one to make sure whatever the data that is being generated, right? In the current business world, data is being generated, millions of data is being generated, right? And all those things are being stored in a form of data factory or in the databases, right? Or in files, right? In olden days, right, these data used to be stored in the Excel files, CSV, that means comma separated files, and some XML files also. Over a period of time, we got the concept of databases, right? And different companies has given their solutions like Teradata, SQL Server, Oracle, all this thing, right? And when the technology moves on, Hadoop, right, or cloud, these all things has came. Now these are the main, what they do is they will make sure the data collected is transformed and stored that can be used for the analysis purpose, right? And these things happens as a part of the data engineering. Now if you see, once this is stored, right, our Power BI comes into the picture. Now what is Power BI, right? Now Power BI is one of the very powerful business intelligence tool, right, that helps in getting together, right, unrelated data sources and create a meaningful insights, right? There is a one statement is there from the Microsoft Power BI. Let me show you that one, right? That is the best thing that I want to share with one. So if you see here, what Power BI is going to do, let me show you this one. Yeah. See, Power BI is a collection of software services, apps, and connectors that work together to turn your unrelated sources of data into coherent, visually impressive, and interactive insight, right? This statement, no other statement is required. just to tell what is Power BI, right? Now, what we are going to learn as a part of our course is, right? So how to use these different software services, how to use the Power BI, right? And also how to create the reports, dashboards, all those things we are going to do. And what we are going to do, we are going to create a coherent, visually impressive, and interactive insights. And who is going to use this one is the top level management or the business analyst, right? And they are going to take a valuable decisions for the organizations, whether it can be a day-to-day operations or it can be a short-term goals or it can be a long-term goals or long-term decisions. There's a like strategic decisions would be taken, right? So that is where Power BI is going to come into the picture. And our main focus would be converting these unrelated data sources or data that is stored in the form of tables, files, right, into the nice visualizations and dashboards, right? And in this point, I want to just say you one liner that tells, right, a picture speaks thousand words, right? If you come across this one, right, so that is what we are going to do, right? We are going to convert this data into some meaningful charts, images, pictures, right? Either it can be a bar chart, line chart, or a pie chart, sorry, pie chart or a donut chart. So we are going to present all our data in a way that gives a right thing, right? So this is the main objective of our course. Now, when it comes to the, just let me show you one more simple presentation, right? A deck that is enhanced to this one. The same thing which we have seen, right? So to perform this one, to maintain a data factory or to get the visualization, we need a particular tool, right? As I told you, in databases, we have Oracle, SQL, SQL Server. Like that, at different stages, we have different kinds of tools are there. Now, when you say the operational data, right, this is going to be the day-to-day data, right? Whatever the activities that happen. Suppose if you take a bank, right? A lot of transactions happened, a lot of customer interactions happened. These are all called operational data, right? So to business, to operate your business, a lot of activities are happened. All those things would be captured. Either it can be through some devices, right? Or through the laptops or the desktop, and we are going to store them in the databases, right? And this operational data is converted into the analytical form. And as a part of data warehousing concept, I'm going to detailedly explain what is the purpose. Why can't we use operational data as it is? What is the limitations for that one? Right? So we are going to why we are switching a database that is designed to serve operational purpose, but we are creating one more copy. If you see, we have the data and we are going to take a copy, putting the data into analytical systems, right? And we do a lot of analysis on that one. And as a part of our first class, as a part of fundamentals data warehousing, we are going to cover those things, right? Accordingly, considering when we say, yes, I'm a data engineer, definitely we would be working with a databases. And SQL, structured query is language, is the universal language. Like how English is a kind of a universal language. So if we know the English, right, we can manage by in any country, right? I expect like when 90% of the countries, definitely if we know the language, English language, right, we can at least manage survival. Same thing. SQL, if you know the structured query language, right, in detail with one database, it can be a Teradata, it can be SQL Server or PostgreSQL, right? That means we know the concepts of the SQL. That means we know how to write the SQL queries so that when you are in the job, right? And if you got a chance that you need to, if you got a requirement that you need to work on another database, you don't need to be worried more, right? So as a part of that thing, we are going to cover PostgreSQL, which is an open source tool, right? Completely free, right? When we say open source, it's a completely free with the full features. And I'm going to help you. I mean, as a part of our course, we are going to install this PostgreSQL, right? The short form, and we are going to see how the PostgreSQL works, right? And how to create the database, how to create the tables to a mid level. We are going to cover that one as a part of our SQL, right? So in this journey, what we are going to make sure we are going to understand, right, why there is a ETL or analytical systems are there to build, right? And for sure, these analytical systems are built over the databases. For sure, either it can be a cloud on premises. So we are going to learn one database system. Okay, I think it is opening. I will wait for some time. And finally, our major subject would be Power BI data analyst. Okay, so we are going to deep dive into the Microsoft Power BI, which is going to help of data modeling and visualization. So in this, we are going to learn a data that is present in the database. When we get onto the Power BI, right, we are going to model that one to get a nice kind of reports with highly scalable and performance. That's what we are going to show. So as a part of initial thing, I'm going to show a high level view of also how we create the Power BI and all those things. Just let me see if the database is open. Yeah, right. So if you see here, this is the PostgreSQL database, right? And the logo for this one is head of the elephant that tells the size and the smartness. And let me connect to this one once, right? So as a part of the PostgreSQL database, right, what we are going to cover, we are going to cover different topics like DDL, that means data definition language. Let me show you one of the previous examples, right? What we did is like we are going to see data definition language. So how to create a database, right? And how to interact with the database. And at the same time, we are going to take is create, I mean, we're going to have a in-depth discussion and plan a certain tables, and we are going to see how to create the tables, right, in the SQL server. And we are going to create them, right, different tables. At the same time, we would be seeing modifying those tables. Suppose if you got a requirement, say your existing table is not fit for the purpose or it requires an upgradation, then how we are going to modify those tables, right? And how we can make a robust table that can help us to make sure the data that is stored is maintaining a right level of quality, right? Because whenever we are dealing with data related projects, one thing we need to make sure at the collection time, we need to make sure our data is pretty accurate so that we don't need to rework, right? So how can we put more controls onto our table so that the right level of data can be stored, right? This is about the SQL. And within the SQL, we are going to learn data manipulation language, DML. That means the inserting the data, updating the data, deleting the data, right? These are the things we are going to see, and we are going to do lot of data to be inserted into these tables, right? And these are followed by, right? You can see all these queries that we are going to learn as a part of our course, right? Insert, update, deletes. And once data inserted, obviously we need to see that data, correct? So which means that I need to select the data, either entire table or specific records or with the specific criteria. Right? As a part of that one, we are also going to learn about the joins, one of the very important topic, like how data warehousing is a fundamentals. Similarly, in SQL, structure query language joins is very important, right? And we are going to learn more about joins, views, all these things, right? So starting with the basics, right, in the SQL. So the course, when we say that when we structured this course, Lakshmi told us one thing, hey, Hari, the students who are going to be in our to our institution is that they would be from other domains or from other fields and they want to switch their career. So we need to make sure the basics are touched. At the same time, when you want to crack a job, yes, at least we need to have a some level, mid-level till mid-level basic too. So we are going to cover some topics. Those are at a medium level, mid-level, what I would say is intermediate level. And then we will wrap up SQL, right? These are going to be the first week. And then once it is done, right, understanding how the data we are getting. So how we are getting the data, all those things. Then we will focus on our Microsoft Power BI, right? Now, when you say within the Microsoft, right, there are good number of tools are there, services are there now. Azure Data Factory, this is a Microsoft one, Microsoft SQL Server. And if I show you how many workloads are there, right, these are like data engineer, data factory, data science, databases, data. There are real-time intelligence. And what my strong feeling is that, right, we are not going to be an expert in all those things. And it is really difficult initially, right? As in when we are improving or when we are more experienced, definitely we can explore all these things. But as of now, we are going to understand, gain some basic fundamentals about the data warehousing and about the database. And this database also, right, I can pick a Microsoft database, but what I thought is that we are learning Microsoft Power BI. So why don't we learn database from the open source system, right? So that we know how to integrate two different tools from completely different organization that we can integrate. That is one thing, right? So basics of data warehouse and database and a in-depth knowledge of Power BI. So we are going to have around 10 to 10 classes within our 3 weeks of course, right, are dedicated to the Power BI. And what we are going to learn in the Power BI, right? So let me show you that one. Within the Power BI, right? We are going to learn how to get the data into Power BI, right? We are going to see how we connect to different systems. Like it can be an Excel, it can be a database, sorry, or it can be a JSON, all those things. And we are also going to see how to install the Power BI. Now let me show you. Let me open the Power BI so that I can show you what practically we are going to do with the Power BI. And analysis power pivot, right? So if you see in this, we are having data modeling, measures and filters, summarizing, time intelligence, all these things, and visualization, right? So once we have analyzed the data, so we got the data. After that, I'm going to show you how we are going to analyze the data, and then we are going to visualize the data. Once visualizations are created in the Power BI, right? And we are going to publish these things. So a series of activities we are going to do, and this is going to be mostly on hands-on only, not theoretical. Theoretical would be less. And I'm going to give very important modules from the Power BI organization itself, Microsoft, right? And I need your help to thoroughly read those articles and come back to us, right? Now, let me show you one interesting thing here, right? So the parts of Power BI, if you see a Windows desktop application called Power BI Desktop, a online software service called Power BI Services, right? As a part of our course, right? So I am going to create an account also for our batch so that you can log into that account and publish your reports into the services and share with everyone, right? And that's what it mentions. So Power BI, right? So we are going to use Power BI desktop. Let me maximize this one, right? We are going to use Power BI desktop to create the reports, right? And we are going to in-depth knowledge on this one. And then we publish those into the services, right? Where we can give the right level of access to everyone or to specific teams or team members who are supposed to view those reports. Suppose if it's a HR report where it provides information about the total salaries, expenses, and all those things, then we need to make sure only HR team have access of that one. And if it is something an inventory, then a manufacturing department should have those access like that we can work on it, right? Now, when I come to the Power BI desktop, right? So let me open a blank report first, right? So if you see here in the get data, right, we have different systems, those can be connected. And if I go to the more files, I can get the data from Excel, from the CSV, from the Excel, from the JSON, whatever databases, right? You can name a database. I'm 100% confident that that database would be there in this list. And since it is a Microsoft, so we have Microsoft Fabric, Power Platform, Azure. So if you say Azure Analytics SQL, Azure SQL databases, everything would be there, right? So we are going to connect to these systems, get the data into our Power BI, and we are going to visualize that data, right? At the same time, if you see on the right side, right, these are all different visualizations. And we are going to learn about each and every visualizations, right? And a detailed articles and detailed knowledge articles are there, like for what purpose. Suppose if you want to show your sales over a period of time, right? We need to use the line chart. Suppose if you want to show a comparison between different countries, how the sales are happening in different countries, we are going to use these bar charts or column charts, right? Similarly, we have the gauze visuals, card visuals. So a in-depth explanation, right? Not about explanation, a in-depth training is going to be provided as a part of our course, right? How to connect it and how to see the modeling. So let me show you one completed report. And at the same time, we are also going to work on the AI visuals. So what are these? Artificial intelligence visuals, right? So I'm going to show you about these artificial intelligence visuals in detail. So we are having a separate one class specifically dedicated to AI tools, right? And I'm sure that that is going to give you more and more confident, okay, that this is the right tool for me as a beginner, right? So let me show you by opening one completed report that is from the previous batch. Okay. So this is a, I would say, basic report that which we worked on, right? Now, if you see here, we have different visual. This is the cards visual that gives what is your total revenue. And this is a multi-card visual that gives how many customers are there, how many boxes. And we have a gauze visual that tells, okay, what is your revenue? What is your revenue target and how much you achieved, right? And if I select this one, right, you are going to have what values, different options. So we are going to learn about all these options and formatting, right? And if you see here, we have a function, make this property change under different conditions. Say, if my sales is less than 10 million, then I want to show a red color, right? Because we are far from the target of 60 million. Similarly, if I am 20 million, yes, just please show in the amber color. So all these things we write in this function. Let me show you. See here. So minimum zero center, you have taken 30 million and maximum 60 million, and I have divided the coloring, right? So this is also called as conditional formatting, right? If I just not given this one, then it would be showing in a single color. Now let me show you. We have the interactive feature. So if I select a particular pillar, rest all other visuals are automatically filtered, right? These are visual interactions. And we can see this color. So it is red color because it is far from the target, right? Now, if I'm going to just I'm selecting multiple lines so that this values slowly adds up, right? And see how the red color converts into the amber and green. So it is slowly going with the light red color. See, started it is going to be in amber. Now it is fully amber and starting with green color now, right? So we are going to learn all these things as a part of our course. And honestly, the good thing with Power BI is, right, this is a Microsoft tool, right? So which means the user interface, the options, all those things, more or less, they are like close to the Microsoft Excel or PowerPoint. Because if you see these kind of visuals, right? Suppose if you got a chance to work in Microsoft PowerPoint presentation, right? You would be seeing all these things, right? Secondly, now if you see, we have different views are there. Report view, right? We are in the report view, table view, right? See, this is the data that we have get from the different source systems, right? And if I present something in a tabular form, definitely if it is 10 records, then I can understand. But actually in the real world, we are going to have the millions of records. So something that should be presented in a nice way. Now, if you see, this is the car sales data over a period of 2020 and 21, 23, 24, 25 years of car sales data. Now, how we are going to present, how we have presented this data, right? In a report, let me show you in the car sales. See, so we have shown each and every state-wise sales. And also in the sales trend, we have shown a line chart, how the sales are happening over a period of time. So we are going to learn all these things. Now, when it comes to the line charts, right, we have the analytical features. So how your sales are going, like trend line, right? X-axis, Y-axis, what is the minimum line, maximum line, what is the average line? We are going to touch base all these things. And take my word that the tool is a user-friendly tool, right? My intention is that what I feel strong belief is that let us be an SME, subject matter expert, or be an expert in the Power BI by learning it into depth so that we can easily crack a job, right? Once we are on the job by doing a lot of work on the Power BI, then we can explore other services in the Microsoft also. And sure, this is one of the easiest way to get into the job, right? Now to show further, like we are going to touch the model view, right? How the data modeling, and I'm going to give you a detailed explanation of how these tables are interconnected, like what is star schema, what is snowflake schema that is going to come as a part of our data warehouse concepts, right? How these tables, how the sales table is related to the different tables. What is the significance of this one? We are going to learn as a part of our data modeling. So getting the tables is one thing, and making sure we are creating a right data model that can be used for our visualization is very important. And these data model concepts are very closely related to the data warehousing concept that we are going to cover in our first class, right? And another interesting thing is in the AI visuals, right? We are going to cover the like decomposition tree, smart narrative. So if you see here, this summary, right? You may think that this is a text box, but this is actually the smart narrative. And this is generated by this particular visual. Now say if I just filtered out a particular year, now if I want to see, and if you see here, it is just refreshing the values. Revenue trend results by 10.69, right? Now this is where how the Power BI desktop looks, right? And where we are going to build nice visually immersive and interactive visuals. And we are also going to cover on the AI visuals, right? So if you see, this is Q&A visual. That means question and answers. You can ask anything. Suppose if I put a simple value, total revenue, sorry, spelling mistake, right? Total chocolate revenue. So this is my total revenue. Now, if I put by category, see, so it's not about that we are like getting this visual into the report page, right? And add these data elements and then visualize it. The same thing we are also going to learn, right? By just simply typing, right? We are going to get this visual. Now, once we got the required desired visuals, we can do this one, turn this QA into results into standard visuals, right? So we are going to learn from the basics, right? How to make our report a visually immersive and interactive one. At the same time, we are going to learn how artificial intelligence visuals are going to help us to make our work faster, right? Because if you see, suppose if you are using a copilot on your laptops, right, or AI, it gives a one message also. This is a AI generated or this is a copilot generated. Please review before you are using it. So what it means by is, yes, if you are using that particular feature, we should have the capability to decide whether that outcome is right or wrong, or is it fit for the purpose. Same thing. We here also we are going to start from the basics in the Microsoft Power BI, right? We learn how to create them and how to format them, right? In a nice way. And once we are strong in the fundamentals, then we are going to touch base with the artificial intelligence visuals also, right? So once in our diagram, right, if you see here, so we are going to develop a lot of things. And once we are done, we are going to publish this into the services, right? Same thing if you see in the home, we have the publish, right? And I'm going to create one account for all of you, right? As a part of our course, I mean account, so that you can log in into it and you can publish it. Just I'm publishing this one. Okay, since it is the one, I will replace it. And also we are going to see how to create a mobile layout also for this one. I mean, this is a desktop version. Now, when we are want to see the same report in the mobile, right? If you know, right, mobile screen is in the portrait, right? This is a landscape, that means which we see horizontally, whereas mobile we see vertically, correct? So we are going to learn how to create a mobile layout for all these pages also, right? Now let me go to the Power BI services. right? So this is the report that which we created. Now let me show you the home page. See, then executive summary. This is generated by the artificial intelligence visual. And suppose if I applied a filter, say I'm interested on bars. So this executive summary is going to be rewriting, right? So we are going to learn from basics to the advanced AI concepts also in the Power BI, right? So that is my responsibility to make sure that all the key important topics those are required. We are going to cover DAX, data analysis expressions. We are going to cover how to present the images into our reporting. So if you see here, suppose if I select a particular person, I can see those images see here like this. Suppose if I'm interested on this particular person details, then we will select and we can see his results. Okay, like this. Line chart, sales, right? And also we are going to learn how we can share these reports, right? We can share as a link, we can mail it, right? Or we can give an email address within the team so that only those members would be having the access, right? So a detailed in-depth learning would be done with respect to the Power BI as a tool, right? And another good thing with Power BI is, right, as we discussed, right, we are in our journey, right? We are at the end where it is. Let me show you this one, right? We are at the right side. And who is our consumers? The business people, right? Or the organization heads, leads, because they are interested, right? If you think that the management, right, how they are going to take a decisions by seeing the different reports, right? Financial reports. So that means if once we are as a part of Power BI role, we have the high chances that we are closely working with the top management, right? So at the same time, it is very important that we are building accurate reports and we are having good understanding with the business. Because if our reports are not accurate, then obviously, right, the management may take the wrong decisions. So understanding the business, having good communication skills, and as a part of our course, right, we are going to learn a detailed things about the Power BI, right? So this is all about our course and how we are going to have this journey, right? And our course is going to be a 3 weeks, Monday to Friday, right? Daily 1 hour. And to be honest, it may go another 15 minutes more. And normally I start the class 15 minutes before so that whatever the project task that I have given you as a part of today's class, we would be reviewing in the tomorrow, right? So that means consider daily 1.5 hour that you are allocating to our class, right? At the same time, each and every class is recorded and it is uploaded in the YouTube, right? Access would be provided to all the registered users on that class. And that means the good thing with is that we are all very familiar with YouTube. I think no need to tell that one, right? So my main intention is, so if the video is there in the YouTube, right, so that you can play that one when you are traveling to office or coming back to home, or when you have some time sitting ideal, so that you can quickly watch the recording and make in notes, right? I mean, revising the class. So one thing I ask every student is, once our class is done, when we are coming to the next class, please revise the class and also start practicing whatever the project task that I am giving to you, so that next class would be more and more easy and interesting would be happen, right? So this is about all our course. I hope I have given a, a right level of understanding, right? And let me show you another PDF, right? So if you see each and every class, what topics we are going to cover, right? A detailed schedule will be given to you. In the data warehousing, what topics we are covering. In the PostgreSQL, what topics we are going to cover, like data definition language, data manipulation, querying, right? And coming to the second week, we are going to cover data types, very important thing. And within the Microsoft Power BI, like I just again further at a high level, what topic it is, like Power Query, getting the data, analyzing the data. And let me show you another important thing. Within the Power BI, right, there is a Power Query. Now, if you click on transform data, right? So when we connect to the database, yes, our database would be accurate because it's a structured environment. But at a times, we may get the data from Excel sheets or simple unstructured environments also, semi-structured. So that means there is a high chance that we also need to do some transformations, calculations, clean up all these things. And where we do all these things in the transform data, that is Power Query Editor, right? And just one simple example. So if you see, this is world population, where we got this data, this one, yeah, this one, right? And if you see here, the applied steps. So if I click on each and everything, right, it will shows what is your source. It's a website, browse content. This is the website and what we extracted from that website and what type of actions we have done. I mean, we can see individually each and every step, or else if you right click on it, advanced editor, and we are having all the lines of code that is written by Power BI. We didn't written it, but we done just a kinds of mouse clicks, drag and drop, right click, and those things, right? I will see a small example. Suppose if I right click on it, if you see here, transform data, lowercase, uppercase, capitalization, trim the data, all these things. We will click this one and corresponding query, we call it as a M query language, would be written by Power BI, right? And I'm going to further deep dive into it, how you can easily and quickly understand this one, right? This is called Power Query. And we have an option to data preview also. What kind of data is it? How much distribution is there? Suppose if I click on sales data, right? How many geographical have? See, we have the sorry, we have 5 countries. Each country, how much data is there, right? This is called data profiling. And we are going to have an in-depth section how to understand the data that we have connected. I mean, we have got into our Power BI and how to model it. All these things we are going to learn as a part of our Power Query editor, right? So any questions or queries till now before I go to the next topic, like how the things would be? Okay. Yes, after the class also I would be available, right? And we would be creating a WhatsApp group with all the students who are registered, right? So as and when you have a doubt, you can post it in that WhatsApp group, and I'm going to respond to you as soon as possible. Yeah. In terms of resume preparation, job level support, yes, I will come to the, I will come on that one. Just give me. Any other questions? Technically, we are going to cover Power BI that is required to take the certification, that is PL 300. Okay, so this is all about till now what we covered is how the course is structured, right? And how we are going to make sure in the data journey end to end understanding how it works and how we are going to make sure within the Power BI we are the best. That's what we are going to do, right? Okay. Yes, classes would be mostly for US, it would be the evening times. I think it would be like 8 p.m. CST and 9 p.m. EST, around that one. India, it is 6:30 a.m. and Australia, it would be around 11. And another important thing for India and Australia region or Europe, it would be like Tuesday to Saturday. Okay. Uh, it's like a time zone. Okay. Yeah. Fine. So what next? Okay. I have done the course. What is the next thing? So the ultimate goal for us is to gain the job, right? So for that one, what are the key things that we need to focus? One is certification, right? So we are going to target PL 300. And if you see, this is the intermediate level, obviously, right? Whenever we want to crack any job, at least we should have a certification that is at the intermediate level. And sure, this is going to help. And this need to be renewed every 12 months, but don't worry, the renewal is free of cost. It's just like they will put one simple test. I mean, same, the test would be repeated. We need to complete the test again so that it can be renewed, right? And these are the topics and that to be covered as a part of certification. And these topics would be covered as a part of our course. And my honest answer is 70% would be covered. So the project task and the KB articles, knowledge articles, right? I'm going to provide you after the class. If you thoroughly complete, that means that 70%, sorry, 70% of it is covered, and that is good enough for the certification. At the same time, as a second time revision, I normally suggest to go through these articles, right? And then once we are confident, yes, there are a lot of practice assessment papers are there. We can take n number of times. And if consistently we are hitting above 80%, then we are good to register, right? So we can see like it is $165 and this cost is separate, right? It would be paid to the Microsoft. The course fees is different and this is different. Okay. And initially we don't need to pay this one because once we are completing our course and then we are ready for the certification, then we can take it. And I would be there to support you, right? All the kind of learning support, technically anything you needed, I would be there, right? And another thing is the resume preparation. That is one of the important thing, right? The important thing is that whenever a recruiter, right, screens the profiles, the first thing is he checks whether it is matching with the job requirements or not, right? And the second thing is whatever we put in the resume that we need to make sure, yes, we are up to the mark. If there is a gap in these two things, definitely we may not be able to progress forward, right? So after the I mean, by end of the course that I'm going to give a good sample resumes and I want you to prepare a draft one and then we connect one-on-one because each and every student are not going to have same level of expertise or same level of experience, right? So we need to fine tune that one and I will be there, right, to guide you and just refine your resume and be it available. At the same time, if you're looking, no, I don't have much time, I need a complete service who can do my job, then we will refer internally to you to another key associates who are dedicatedly working on this one, right? Now, when it comes to the job market, let's go with the LinkedIn. I think this is LinkedIn. Now we'll choose Google search. Yeah. So Power BI jobs in USA. Now, if I open the LinkedIn, right, where it is this one, right? And if you see around 12,000 results are there, but obviously there would be like a mix and everything. But let us see one by one where exactly. Yeah, here it is Power BI developer. If you see the salary range 86K to 140K. Now let us see for this salary what they are looking for. Develop, optimize, and maintain Power BI reports and dashboard using Microsoft Fabric and OneLake. So we are going to cover this one. Collaborate with stakeholder together, documentation, business, ensure alignment. Apply foundational knowledge for Ralph Kimball data warehousing methodologies to support effective data modeling. So this is going to be covered in our first class, right? And further, they would be adding on, but we need to make sure that whatever needed, 1 to 3 years of experience in Power BI. So person who is an entry level, right? This is the best one, right? And when we have a good in-depth knowledge, yes, we can be a person who can have a 3 years of experience also. It's just about that we need to present that yes, we have done these things and we are good enough. I mean, we are fit for the job, right? SQL developer, right? Further, we will see Power BI or Power Apps engineer, right? If you see here, Power BI solution developer responsible, but may not be limited. Normally, it will ask develop and maintain Power BI, Power Apps, and they have multiple. But what I feel is that when we are exhibiting that, yes, this person have a strong skill set in one area, definitely the recruiter would be interested to take the person, right? Languages it is asking, develop customer, right? 3 to 5 years. If you see here, 3 to 5 years of software experience, 2 to 3 years experience in developing Power BI solutions. So a diversified person they are looking, but within the Power BI, right? And what is the package there? I think they didn't put anything. Uh, business analyst remote. So a good number of jobs are there. It's just about we need to be having that right level of skill set, 3 plus years of relevant experience in business analysis, data reporting or analytic, right? And some skill sets. What is the skill set they provided it? Gathering reports, dashboard, and visualization for business operation. Analyzing trends, patterns, key performance indicators to provide actionable insights and maintaining data integrity. The could must be utilizing SQL, Excel, Power BI, and Tableau is there, but I would read that these three are good enough and we are going to cover, right? What else we can see? Power BI developer, business SQL developer. I'm just looking. So there is a good amount of results are there. Let me figure out. And even we can think of it. Suppose if I put an entry level and associate, how much are they? 12,000 are there, right? Power BI specialist, $50 per hour, right? Collaborating closely with the stakeholders, gathering the requirements, integrating, right? Power BI, DAX, data visualization, integrity, dashboard design, data modeling. All these things would be covered as a part of our course, right? Power BI developer. So I would request you, honestly, I mean, if you feel that, okay, I mean, but if you search with explicitly Power BI jobs, I mean, jobs on Power BI, right? You will get a good number of. At the same time, they would be asking like SQL or any Python, what you know. So I want the person should be good with SQL and Python, right? So a bright future for the Power BI. And make sure that we are not stick to Power BI, yes, but we know the SQL and we know data warehousing concepts well. That is we are going to achieve and make sure the person is ready for the job. Any questions or queries till now? Yeah. Yeah. If you are missing some classes, okay, don't worry. Subsequent in the subsequent batch, right? You can join without any extra cost, right? Once you register for one batch, right? Even though you attended all the class, but if you feel that yes, I want I feel that even you want to have a refresh of the course once again, or you want to have some doubts or clarification, yes, you can rejoin the next batch, right? At the same time, due to whatever the circumstances, say you missed some classes, yes, you can rejoin it. Only simple condition which I put is that when you are rejoining the next batch, right, by that time you would be having the previous class related recordings, project task, and everything. So I would request you just make sure you are watching those recording once again so that the class would also be more interesting, right? So when you are starting the first time in the course, yes, you are like a clean slate, right? Fresh mind and everything. But you are rejoining the batch. By that time, definitely you would have good understanding with these classes and you would be having the materials, recording and everything. So just do some homework and come back to the subsequent batches, right? Then you would be uh, faster to understand what we are discussing. And you can also be contributing to those classes, right, by providing your inputs to the new students. Okay, so fees and everything, yes, you can post in the chat channel your contact details. Okay, I will send you a complete details about the fee structure and the payment details and how we can do the payment and all those things. Okay, so I would request you to kindly post your phone number and Gmail address so that I can share you this recording. Okay, this is Hari, and I will be sharing your contact. So I have posted my contact details also in the channel. So please go through the contact information and you can WhatsApp me directly, or else you can connect to Lakshmi, right? So that he would be guiding you. If you are having any, I mean, if you want to directly connect with Lakshmi, yes, you can connect with him also, or you can connect or WhatsApp me directly to the number or the mail Gmail ID I posted. Okay. Any questions or queries? Fine. Thanks for your time. Okay. Soon we will meet. So our batch is going to start from the next Monday. That is 15th of September, right, for the USA region, and for India, Europe, and Australia region, it would be the 16th early morning time, right? I would be waiting for your response. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time and have a nice day. Thank you all.